My name is Sakshi. So, let's start with the summary of Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Introduction. Do you feel your ego is getting in between you and your goals? Do you give up after failing? Is your life getting out of control? If yes, you are in the right place. This book will guide you to cure your ego as it is your greatest enemy. You will learn about different techniques you can practice so that your ego remains in control. You will also learn about the importance of being humble to succeed. There are numerous habits mentioned in the book that you can include in your lifestyle to cure your ego. You're not the only one facing it. Ego is a natural emotion felt by all of us. To get hold of it is necessary. Ego has the power to destroy you, and therefore, learning to control it is a must. Your success is in your hands. Do not let it slip away from you because of your ego. Talk, talk, talk. At the beginning of a new journey, all of us are afraid and excited. To calm ourselves, we tend to find comfort outside rather than inside. All of us want attention while we do the least work. It is always easy to talk rather than do something. We tend to take silence as a weakness, so we talk to show our strengths. However, silence is a great quality very few have mastered. By talking unnecessarily, we weaken the action linked to it. Silence indicates self-confidence and strength. Talking reduces the quality of our work and distracts us. It is a psychological fact that talking reduces the chances of completing a task. It makes us feel like we have already accomplished it. You must try to control your tongue in all cases so you can achieve success without falling into the trap of talking. Being silent will put your best work forward. Work quietly and ignore the impulse to talk. Be yourself no matter what, and you will make a difference in life. You can achieve great things if you move on your path without ego, and also if you become true to yourself. A person who is true to himself can never act fake to others. When you decide to do something, don't do it for fame or recognition. By doing something your heart wants, you can be true to your soul and your friends. Try to do something that benefits others. If you do things for fame and recognition, there's a huge chance that you will lose your true identity in the process. You will start being fake to your friends and companions. You will have to make compromises, and ultimately, you will lose yourself. Here is an example to understand how being true to yourself leads to greatness. One of the most influential men in modern warfare was John Boyd. He was a great fighter pilot, and he could defeat anyone in less than 40 seconds. Despite all this, he was never promoted above the rank of a colonel. Boyd was elected as the lead instructor in Nellis Air Force Base, Korea. The F-15 and F-16 were his pet project. His primary aim was to be an advisor for his country, and he wanted to serve his country in every possible way. Boyd advised the Defense Secretary directly in private meetings, but he never took credit. He never published any books, and no military base was named after him. He wanted to do his work sincerely, without any public attention. Boyd wanted his work to make a difference, rather than him being on high ranks. Being promoted does not necessarily mean you're good at your job. Your purpose in life should be something bigger than you. If you're selfless and you aim to improve the lives of others, you will achieve extraordinary success. Become a student. Always keep learning new things to improve. Learning should have no barriers. You should always try to learn things you don't know so you can get a grip on the basics of any subject. Always be ready to take new instructions and be a good student to improve your skills. You should always get feedback from your teacher and never complain about the teaching process to be too harsh. This will allow you to place your ego and ambition in someone else's hands. This is the power of a student. To get real and continuous feedback, you must have someone better than yourself that you can learn from. You need to put yourself beneath someone whom you trust to improve. Accept that others know more than you and you can benefit from their knowledge. You should always be a student to become great or stay great. Be self-critical and self-motivated and try to absorb whatever is going around you. Here is a story of a guitarist, Kirk Hammett, who was a great student. Kirk was barely in his 20s when he got selected as a guitarist for the band Metallica. He performed his first major show after a few days. Kirk was a humble guitarist, and despite playing the guitar for years, he decided to look for a guitar teacher. At his hometown in San Francisco, Kirk found a great teacher named Joe Satriani. Joe's style of music was totally different from Kirk's. The point of choosing Joe as his instructor was that Kirk wanted to learn what he did not know. Joe understood Kirk's weaknesses and helped him improve. Kirk was like a sponge, and he absorbed all the instructions from Joe efficiently. Kirk was different from others because he was willing to take any type of instruction that makes him better. Joe gave Kirk constructive feedback that helped him to grow as an artist. For 2 years, Kirk listened to what Joe taught him and followed all his instructions carefully. Kirk became a great guitarist and improved every day. Kirk placed his ego aside and accepted the fact that someone is better than him. By accepting this, he got a chance to learn from the knowledge of Joe, which ultimately helped Kirk in mastering his own skills. What separated Kirk from his companions and opponents was that he was always ready to take criticism positively and never let his ego come in between his work. By becoming a student, Kirk became much better than his previous self. The famous guitarist became a student so he could be great and stay great. If Kirk had thought he was better than anyone else, he would never have improved or gotten better than his previous self. It teaches us how we should always keep learning and accept that others might know more than us. The danger of early pride. You should never boast about yourself. Having pride in your life is an obstacle between you and your destination. Pride has the power to ruin you. Thinking that you're better than everyone else is dangerous. People who don't boast but privately think they are better than everyone else is still pride. Pride can destroy what you aspire for. You should always be humble. We all want to create stories from our past events. However, this can be dangerous for the future. It leads to arrogance and makes our life a story that we are yet to live. These stories block all the ways of exploration in the future. This story is about the football coach and general manager Bill Walsh, who took the worst football team, the 49ers, under his training. In just 3 years, he guided the team to the Super Bowl victory. Walsh achieved excellence by paying attention to details, and success followed. He disciplined the players even outside the field. Walsh taught them to keep the locker room clean at all times. No one is allowed to smoke, say curse words, or fight with a teammate. The newspapers called Walsh the genius, and there were several stories about his success, but he accepted none. He ignored it because it was harmful to the future and it would make him arrogant. However, Walsh's players let the stories go to their heads and they started having overconfidence. This overconfidence terribly affected their performance and they lost 12 out of 22 games. This is the result when you prematurely credit yourself. When you let the stories get into your head, you start making lesser efforts and your standards fall. The team had to work hard again to reach the standard they had lost. After rigorous training sessions, the players could finally reach that level of excellence again. This is why Walsh never accepted the title given to him by the media. Telling a story about yourself can make you arrogant, overconfident, and less hardworking. It is necessary to think about what is important to you to gain success. But we are never happy with what we have, and we always want what others have. Our main aim is to have more than others. We start our journey with what is important to us, but once we have achieved it, ego enters the picture and ruins us. We say yes to opportunities we don't want, thinking it will help us succeed, but it does the opposite. It distances us from what truly matters and prevents us from getting it. We waste precious moments of life in proving ourselves to other people. We forget what's important in our life. A lifetime or dead time. Don't let your failure set you back. Get back up after each time life knocks you down. When you fail, it is totally all right to feel angry or depressed. But don't let this failure define you. New opportunities are waiting for you. There are two types of time. These are dead and alive time. Dead time is the period spent in waiting, while alive time is spent in learning and being productive every second of your life. Most people get stuck in dead time, but you should always try to live in an alive time and come out of every failure like a champion. This story is about a famous criminal and minister named Malcolm X, previously known as Detroit Red. He sold drugs, worked as a pimp, and was an armed robber. He had his own burglary gang, which he ruled with bravery. Malcolm wasn't afraid to kill or die. He was finally arrested in an attempt to fence an expensive watch he had stolen. He got a 10-year sentence in jail, and he was barely 21 years old. Malcolm failed not only himself, but the standards of society and morality. He had 10 years to spend in a tiny cell all by himself. But as a prisoner, Malcolm turned his life around. He decided to take advantage of each second in jail to improve himself. He began to learn and read the books available in the jail library. Malcolm learned about religion and philosophy. He chose a lifetime over dead time and did not let his failure define him. He achieved great heights after coming out of prison and became a civil rights activist. So, I hope you liked the summary as well as our efforts behind it. I really enjoyed reading it for you, and I myself learned a lot. And if you liked it too, and if you think we were able to create valuable content for you, you can show your love by giving a review. I will see you in the next summary. Till then, Jai Hind.